All right. Well, good morning again, everybody. This is Heidi. We'd like to welcome you to the SSIS Help Desk, Year in Review, and more. We're glad you could join us this morning. We're going to start out with a quick agenda. We're going to go through introductions, housekeeping, the Tennyson warning, talking points, announcements, SSIS Help Desk overview, the mentor program, SSIS business operations in 2025, child welfare modernization, and resources. So for housekeeping, attendees are muted upon entry. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand using the reaction icon and one of the panelists will unmute you. Submit your questions in the chat. SSIS business operations staff will monitor that so that we can help you. Turn on your closed captioning using the CC button on the bottom left if you would like to use that. And this session is being recorded and will be posted on the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy website in 7 to 10 business days. So before we begin, I want to provide the Tennyson warning. Private data may be collected. Sharing is voluntary, but limited information may affect their support. Any data shared is used only for training and operational needs and accessed only by staff who require it. So now we can move on to the fun part of our presentation this morning, and that is the announcement of SSIS Mentor of the Month. We would like to recognize Cheryl Rassler from Morrison County as our December Mentor of the Month. Cheryl's supervisor, Katie Nettle, submitted the nomination and shared the following. Cheryl is extremely organized and incredibly efficient and values doing things well. While Cheryl has only been with the county for 5 years, she quickly became an expert in SSIS. I'm impressed by Cheryl's vast knowledge of SSIS and her understanding of so many of the intricacies of the multiple systems she works with. Cheryl possesses strong problem-solving skills and a desire to understand why things are done the way they are. This results in Cheryl quickly resolving issues for staff and supervisors, and when an answer isn't readily available, Cheryl will research an answer and always bring these issues to a resolution. Cheryl is good at recognizing where there may be potential problems and inefficiencies, and therefore has good ideas for enhancement requests. One of Cheryl's most remarkable traits is her eagerness to assist her peers and that she's continually looking for ways to make things easier for the team. Not only is Cheryl quick to volunteer to help out on whatever is asked of her, but she prioritizes questions and requests for technical assistance from staff and supervisors above anything else. Cheryl explains things logically and thoroughly. Her calm demeanor is an asset in her mentor role as she doesn't get easily worked up and provides reassurance to the social workers and other case aides if they come to her with problems. Cheryl is willing to work with staff to provide education and direct them how to find the answers to their questions, which has helped to build confidence in the staff. Cheryl is a true gem and will be greatly missed at Morrison County when she retires January 9th. So congratulations, Cheryl. Thank you for being an extraordinary mentor and for your service over the years, and we wish you well in your next adventure. If you'd like to nominate someone as your Mentor of the Month, please feel free to contact me directly. My email will be put in the chat, and we love to hear from you. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sam, who's going to share with us the time entry transformation update.
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. This is Sam Breidenbach, CWIS Modernization Product Manager with the Strategy and Technology Office at DCYF. We want to announce our statewide release of the new version 2.0 for the Time Entry Transformation web app, a website that can be accessed by any SSIS user on any agency-issued device through a browser using a URL. The URL is shown on the screen here. It is time.ssis.mn.gov. And when you navigate to that site through your browser, you log in using your existing SSIS user ID and password that you used to log in with SSIS today. You will be prompted to select a database upon login. That is the same database that you use in SSIS, and you will then be directed to the new activity log homepage where you can view your submitted time records and users still have the ability from version 1.0 to create and submit new time records. As part of the new features, we have also added a quick entry toggle, which allows users to see a condensed version of the full form for non-program related time records. These are for admin and payroll activities specific to 100% time reporting agencies, and this screen is not meant to be used with program selections or work groups. We created a new screen called the activity log that shows users a similar setup to the SSIS activity log, where they can view their submitted records. Users do not have the ability to view the full form or edit records in the web app yet, so you still must edit records in SSIS if you need to make a change after submission. We included the brief instructions for login to the website on the slide here, and a link to the Engagement HQ page where you can submit suggestions to us to help co-design the application and suggest enhancements to make it even better. You can also ask a question there if you have one and see all our previous work, communication, and updates on the product. I'll be here the whole time today, so please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to introduce you to our help desk team. I know before I joined the state of Minnesota, I was like, I didn't realize that the help desk only consists of a few people. Right now, the Tier 1 help desk consists of 4 people. We will discuss later how much help we have behind the scenes or behind us. And however, whenever you hear email the help desk in a meeting, that is one of the 4 of us. We also have included our supervisor, Eric and Heidi, and they will be introducing themselves here shortly. So first, to introduce myself, my name is Shauna Myers. I worked at Sherburne County for 20 years before joining the state in different capacity of I had been in clerical, I went and was a financial worker for a few years, and then ended up in accounting until I came to the state. I originally came to the state as a fiscal trainer, did that for a year, and then transferred over to the help desk, and I've been at the help desk ever since. Right now, my job duties, I am the lead worker of the help desk, and I also do complex data fixes or complex tickets if we have those too. Now I'm going to pass it on to Cassie.
Good morning, everybody. I am Cassie Navarrete. I've been with the help desk since March of 2023. Prior to that, I worked at Sherburne County for about 6.5 years as an SSIS mentor. There I was really, really blessed and lucky to have a great partner who taught me all of the things and really let me grow and blossom. Thanks, Joy. In my role here at the help desk, I handle the triage for all of the technical tickets as they come in. So within that, I gather information, I try to troubleshoot some things, or maybe even resolve your issue before we have to escalate it onto tier 2. I also coordinate the statewide release pilots. With that role, I am in charge with recruiting our pilot agencies. Shameless plug if you're interested. I prepare documentation like the what's new and release notes, and I host the pilot check-in meetings. So with that, thanks for joining us today. Next up is Annie.
Good morning. Whoops, there you go. I'm Annie Camphouse. I've worked in the human services field for a combined 11 years with Becker and Cass County before I got to the help desk. I also was a CSP, a FCSS, and an arms worker for part of that time. So there's a lot of connections and a lot of working in different areas. It's really gratifying to be able to help people that are in the SSIS system. I can certainly relate to the problems and the issues that all of you run into because I've been there. It's been a short, almost 2 years on the help desk now, and I really look forward to helping a lot more of you. Thank you so much, and on we go. Here's Luann.
Good morning, you guys. I'm Luann Gruen. I've been with the SSIS Help Desk. It will be 2 years, the end of February. Before coming here, I worked for Candido County for 34 years in a lot of different areas. Each day, we're assigned a half a day of the queue, and I read a variety of situations and issues that mentors and supervisors need assistance with. It's a true privilege to work with the fabulous 5 people I got above, and our subject matter experts, our technical team, and of course, all of you, all of the counties and agencies across the state. Heidi?
Thank you, Luann. Good morning again, everybody. I'm Heidi Morris. I've been with SSIS since 2018. I am the mentor program coordinator as well as a communications person for our area. I take care of the SSIS update, take care of the SSIS resource page that all of you have access to in PartnerLink. And anyway, I look forward to the rest of the presentation and being here with you this morning.
And good morning, everybody. This is Eric Pratt. I supervise this lovely bunch of individuals. Quick history about my background. I worked for a nonprofit as a case manager for many years for the service side of waivered services, including brain injury waiver and the CADI waiver. And then I moved over to Hennepin County, where I worked in eligibility work services for a few years, managed healthcare, and then I was a mentor for Maxis and MMIS before shifting over to the state in 2017 to be the lead SSIS trainer and now the supervisor of the user support team. So happy to be here and happy to serve all of you. And now I get to play the role of elf on the shelf, and I've written a quick poem for our end users, as well as our help desk staff and our helpers at the SME help desk, including physical and child welfare, and our technical SMEs too. How's my elf on the shelf hat working here? So gather around, story time, grab your coffee, have a seat. And get ready for this amazing poem that I'm going to read to you that recaps the year that we had in 2025. So 'twas the end of the year when all through the state, SSIS wasn't behaving at its usual rate. The tickets were stacked in the queue with great care in hopes that our help desk would soon be there. The users scratched their heads, unsure of what to do, while visions of access violations danced in their view. With PMI issues and data gone missing, they emailed and called, let's get these PMIs to start pushing. Screens refused to behave. They also went rogue. Application use baffled even the most seasoned pro. Why does it say this? My brain is in a fog. How come this warning label says something M-Dog? Why does the label say that? Where did my vendor imports go? Is the statewide case access down? Shoot, I selected more than one work group. Oh no! It's the end of the quarter. My CFCR is a mess. My child counts are off. This thing makes me cry, I must confess. At times, the system would raise all sorts of clatter. The help desk leapt up to see what was the matter. Away to their monitors, they flew like a flash to tame all the issues that caused such a crash. The screen on the app, though intended to show, had decided that today it would simply say, nope. When what to their wandering eyes should appear, but a dozen of new problems. It's been quite a year. With quirks in functionality and woes with Swindex, they rolled up their sleeves and crushed it at best. More rapid than upgrades, the questions they came with demands. We've got a Sev1, we're working with incident command. They researched data fixes, untangling each thread, while visions of policy swirled around their head. They squashed user display bugs with humor and grace, even when the system said, nope, not today, interface. Though the work never slows and surprises appear, this team keeps things running throughout the whole year. They speak not a word, but their impact is clear. They bring calm to confusion, and for our users, they cheer. So here's to our help desk, brilliant, patient, and dear. Happy holidays to all, and to a glitch-free new year. Back to you, Shauna.
I don't know if I want to follow that, Eric. That was amazing. Thank you so very much. So I'm going to be boring compared to Eric there, but I just kind of wanted just to explain a little bit about what happens when you email the help desk. So when when you email the dcYF.SSIShelp@state.min.us, you receive an auto response. This auto response is from our queue. It just automatically goes out as soon as we receive an email. And those of you have probably seen this, but we've got the screenshot that thank you for contacting the help desk. We provide support to SSIS state users, county tribal mentors, coordinators, supervisors, and ITEST staff only. If you're not one of these roles, please contact your agency mentor or supervisor. If you're a contracted worker, please reach out to your contracting agency for guidance. Before submitting a future request, please review the SSIS manual. Just kind of gonna finish when your agency mentor, supervisor, or IT staff submit a ticket, it may be redirected, but a response should be expected within 24 hours to 48 hours. Response times may vary depending on size and scope of this request. Your patience is greatly appreciated. First, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this is an automatic response that comes from our queue, which I'll be explaining here in a second. We have received some concerns that this email might be confusing. First, we just want to say that we are not questioning anybody's mentor status. We just want to remind everybody first that there is a resource page that might be able to answer questions before sending an email. And then secondly, to remind everyone that we assist supervisors, IT, and county tribal mentors and coordinators only. We were receiving numerous emails from non-mentors, and so that's why we started doing this response. Next slide. So you hear us say queue all the time. And what that means is when you send an email to the help desk, it goes into our queue, which is something that all of us have access to. Currently, excuse me. So this is an actual shot of the queue. I took everybody's names out of it, but this is what it shows, what it looks like to us. And so what happens is currently either Annie or Luann are assigned to the queue. When they're assigned to the queue, they watch for all incoming emails. They have to keep refreshing. And so this is, we have somebody at least from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. watching this queue every day. You might hear some responses outside those times because of those of us that maybe got up early and decided we started work early. But when the email comes in, they will either send an answer, ask some additional questions, or send a general response that your email will be prioritized by date and request type. You will notice that this should be a more personalized response, should include your name. And this email is normally sent within 24 hours, sometimes 48, but we try to do 24 hours. Next slide. So contacting the help desk, who can contact the help desk? Of course, we would love to be able to help every user out there. But as I talked about earlier, there's only 4 of us on the queue. So we can only help the mentors. So what happens is a help desk staff, when they receive the ticket in the queue, will either work the ticket Send to our subject matter experts, or SMEs, as you hear us refer to them. Assigned to Cassie, she does all the technical tickets. Assigned to Shauna, as I work with the complex data fixes and more complex issues, some of the PMI issues. Lastly, we can assign it to the data recovery queue. Those are the people that would handle the request if something got deleted or is missing out of SSIS. So next slide. So who can contact the help desk? That would include supervisors, IT staff, SSIS fiscal mentors, worker mentors, and/or mentor coordinators. If somebody contacts the help desk that is not one of those people above, we will instruct them that they must contact their mentor and their ticket will be closed. Please note, if the mentor is unable to help an SSIS user, the mentor needs to email the help desk. The user is, if we get the email from the user, we're going to tell them they need to go to a mentor. So if you could email us as a mentor, and if you want to, you can CC them, then we can respond to both of you. We also understand that issues can happen when there's no mentor available and a supervisor is unable to email the help desk. One note we have is contracted workers must contact the county that they are contracted with. We are unable to help with contracted worker questions when it comes to SSIS. And then lastly, remember, mentor information can be found on the SSIS resource page under mentors. There is a link in the PowerPoint to that research page or the SSIS engagement information page, and that also has a link in the slides. Next slide. So if your agency has changes in mentors, please send an email to the help desk. We then forward the changes on to Heidi Morris, our mentor coordinator, and she takes care of getting everything updated. Do know that it takes a little bit of time to update online because that's only updated quarterly. But the information we have here at the help desk to know who the mentors is updated right away. So that's super nice. When you're adding a new mentor, if you could provide the following: the new mentor's name. If you could tell us if the new worker is a worker mentor or a fiscal mentor or their coordinator or all of the above, or however it is, if you could tell us what their part is, a phone number and an email address. The other thing is please remember to contact the help desk when mentors change or leave or no longer employed. That way we can make sure our lists are up to date. Next slide. So what is helpful when not contacting the help desk? So first, one thing that's really helpful is to send all requests into the help desk. Let's say you're working with somebody and they tell you to send the email to the help desk that they'll work with you, but we need to keep track of all the tickets that come in. So let's say you're working with a fiscal SME and they tell you to send something into the help desk. If you tell us that you've been working with X person, we will make sure they get it. But this way it's all kept in one spot. The other thing is it can be kind of confusing if you respond to a general email that was sent out, like a mentor blast or one of the notices from our Minute partners saying when something is going to be done. The best way to do is summarize your request and include important information. One thing that is super helpful is if you summarize what you need rather than saying see below. Sometimes the amount of emails that have gone back and forth are kind of confusing, so it's kind of nice to be able to read a kind of a thing at the top to let us know what we're doing. Another thing is the best way is to explain what is not working or what you cannot do in SSIS. I know everybody is super helpful and tries to tell us what needs to be done and how to fix it, but the problem is sometimes there's easier ways or different ways to go about those, and we we all know those. So if we know what's not working or what you need to be done, then we kind of know a better route to take and we can get their question answered quite fast or faster, excuse me. Another thing is if you have a new question or concern, please send a new email instead of responding to an old email string. Reason we say this is so when a ticket comes into the help desk, it's assigned to staff. That staff person has the ticket in their name. So if you respond to that ticket, it's going to go to that person. So when I'm on my 2-week cruise to the Caribbean in the winter months, if you emailed that response and I was the worker, no one's going to see it because I'm the only one that has the email. So it's better to send a new one because we always have somebody on the help desk looking for emails coming in. The other thing is it has us keep track of the different kind of things that we're doing. Like if you requested a data fix and now you need another data fix, it's better to have a new email because we already did the one data fix. This way we can keep track of the second data fix. Lastly, if you're calling, please leave your name, phone number, and a brief message of what you need so that we can get to the correct person to help you. It might end up being us, but it might be somebody else on our team or other places. I know that the telephone issue has been brought up a lot since COVID. Back in the day, you were able to call the help desk and somebody would answer. And we are not able to do that anymore because of the fact that we are all in different spaces. We don't have a phone that actually rings. What happens is when you leave a voicemail at the help desk, it goes automatically into our queue and we receive it like an email. The only difference is we have to listen to it, type out what the information is, and then call the person back. We also understand that sometimes talking on the phone is way easier than trying to email. So if that is the case and you really do want to talk to somebody in person, you can totally send an email to the help desk and just say that you would like a phone. It would be easier to talk about this on the phone. And even if you could give a brief description, because it kind of helps us be able to look into it a little bit before we call you back, we are glad to call you back and talk through either just on the phone or we can set up a meeting so we can see everything through the computer and work together on it. Next slide, please. So some more what's helpful is, of course, sending in identifying numbers instead of names can be really helpful when you're seeking assistance from the help desk. SSIS person number, PMI number, Swindex, and the SSIS work group numbers are all items that help us when you send to the help desk. Here too is it does help to have that written form, a screenshot. Sometimes we have problems looking at or seeing. So if you could send in physically typing in those, that would be very helpful. One thing that you might see that we respond to is if you're requesting some kind of a data fix on an intake, we'll request the work group number instead of the intake number. That is because our data fix area, when they do the data fix, they only go by work group number. They don't find an intake number. So you'll find that located when you look at the intake, you'll see a tab for intake and then you'll see a tab for work group. So we just need that number from the work group. Providing all this information up front can speed up the process for getting your issues resolved. I'm sure the back and forth emails can be really frustrating. So the more information we have, the faster we can get back to you and look up the information. Next slide. One thing I really wanted to bring up is we're all human here at the help desk. So if you receive a response from help desk staff that you do not agree with, which is totally fine, I actually appreciate if you do find that kind of information. If you could just respond to the ticket that that you don't agree with what was said and that you'd like it reviewed, we will review it as a team. Definitely with Eric, definitely with myself. to see what's going on and make sure that the information is correct. And if it isn't, then we will go from there. So I appreciate that if that's done. And like I said, we're human, we make mistakes. So just please let us know. It makes it a lot easier and we can normally get it fixed a lot faster. My last slide is actually some help desk stats. So the help desk has received over 8,779 tickets from January 1st through October 31st. This is an average of 42 tickets a day. Now, of those tickets, the help desk was able to resolve 4,179 on their own. It didn't need to go anywhere else. This is 48% of average tickets are resolved by the help desk, not needing to go anywhere else. The other 52% are either sent to technical staff or tier 2, our subject matter experts, data fix, or data recovery queue. Next slide.
The following slides will show some of the frequent flyers we have seen at the help desk in 2025. Next slide. If you PMI number not in SSIS. If you search for a PMI number in state search and it's not there, you must request a PMI push. Email the help desk with the PMI number and the initials of the person with the PMI. The email does not need to be sent as a secure email or marked as urgent. We do not need any other information, although it is beneficial to let us know what you're looking for when we push an existing number. A change in social security number, perhaps in addition to the system, or a name change, perhaps in Maxis. This helps us know what you are looking for so that we can be more proactive. Once we push the PMI, it will be available to be found in Swindex. The client will have to still be uncleared and re-cleared for you to be able to choose the new PMI. The PMI push alone will not make the PMI automatically attached to your client in SSIS. Sometimes the social security number will have to be temporarily removed to be able to choose the correct information in the clearing log. If the information entered into MMIS was within this month, we are unable to push the PMI until the next month. This does not mean that this is not an active date in MMIS. It is just when it was physically entered into the MMIS program. I would like to take a moment to actually explain what a PMI push actually does. PMI pushes are requested by county staff when the information has been updated in Maxis and needs to be pushed through into SSIS. Most counties would look for possible active PMI to be able to get reimbursement for case management and other services for the client when the work groups begin. The issue is many old and expired PMI were for financial services, perhaps food supports or cash financial programs, not MA, and many times old PMI are already expired. Best practices, if they have multiple PMI in the SSIS state detail, please contact your financial worker to see which PMI, if they have any currently, are active and for what services, so you know which PMI to request to push in your help desk request. SSIS cannot differentiate between food supports or MA with their PMIs, so we must do the research to make sure the PMI request is what you're seeking funding from and capable of fulfilling the job at hand. All the help desk needs is the PMI number again that you're requesting to push, and if you're looking for something specific, it really helps. PMI requests do not need to be sent securely. Are there any questions? Next, clearing. Reconciliation is the process of reconciling differences between the state database and the agency database. You might see this in a reply when the data fix was requested for a locked participant. If you receive a response from DataFix explaining that the client is on the clearing log for reconciliation, this means you must go to the clearing log, select the client, and select Reconcile. Reconciling directions start on the clearing document on page 16 if you would like further information. If you search for the person in the clearing log, search only for the first initial of the last name that was previously known only, nothing else. Please be careful when you merge clients. If in doubt, do not merge. Contact the help desk so that we can make absolutely certain that you are clearing correctly. Every time you merge comes the possibility of merging pre and post adoptive clients or folks whose names are very similar or perhaps have the same date of birth. Clearing is a huge investigative job. Folks that love to dig for information and verifications of the clients in the clearing log love this area. If you are not certain, do not merge until you are. The help desk can always assist with questions regarding clearing. If you have a specific clearing question, please send the SSIS person Swindex number in your email. This does not have to be sent securely. We have access to adoptions where we can confirm if this is a client that should not be merged or reconciled. We are happy to help. This reduces the hours spent separating pre and post adoptive clients that have been mistakenly merged by our DataFix lead, Shauna. A very worthy endeavor. There is no stupid question. Next slide, please. Please email the help desk as soon as possible if you have a data recovery. If it has been discovered that information in SSIS is missing, put data recovery in the subject line so we get to it immediately. Standard timeline for recovery is within 48 hours of the information being deleted. If the system freezes and the save option was never clicked on, chances are there will be nothing that will be recoverable. When emailing the help desk for data recovery requests, provide any information you have. The more the better, such as estimate of when the information was deleted, primary worker, SSIS person number involved, SSIS workgroup number. In the subject line, it's very helpful to put data recovery just so that we see it right away. An example of what not to send the help desk: we deleted some case notes. Can you please recover? Please help us help you. Send as much information on the data that is missing as is possible in the first email. Are there any questions? Next up is Luann, otherwise.
Okay, we're gonna discuss statewide case access. Frequently, we get questions about statewide case access. This process can be confusing for many users, especially those who don't request access on a regular basis because of their positions. We encourage users to review the instructions for statewide case access that can be found on the SSIS worker documentation page, which there's a link above. A couple of things I want to mention is you only need to select one work group per case. Selecting multiple work groups can create multiple users in the other agency's database and will cause problems with logging in. Also, to prevent issues when accessing statewide case access, be sure to use the alerts and reminders log. The alert that is generated in the alerts and reminders log will tell you which user name to use when logging into that other database. Pay attention to sometimes the SSIS will drop off the last part of the user's name when logging in, and it causes issues with accessing the other database. Next slide. Okay, so if you do experience any issues with logging into it, reach out to us and include the name of the user, the agency user is trying to access, and the SSIS user ID they are using to log into the other agency. If you know the worker numbers, that's helpful too. And all of these steps are done to go into all the steps you're doing to log into statewide case access. And screenshots of the login screen are always great. Often we have to do data fixes to correct issues that do come up. So the things mentioned will help when writing up that data fix. Next slide. So purge and record retention. Questions we see on the help desk could vary from why is there not a destruction date? Why is there a destruction date that's in the past and the work group is still in SSIS? As the slide shows here to those questions, cases with TPRs will never purge. If there's a payment tied to a work group, at this time, those do not purge either. If there was a placement tied to the work group, those will extend the purge date. If there was an appeal, or are there any other work groups in the same case with the same sub-programs, those things will change the date to the latest destruction date of the work group with the same sub-program. Just send us the work group number if you have any questions on why the work groups are not purging, and we can help with that. Now we're going to go to data integrity reports. Okay, so data integrity reports, if you need to find them, you go to SSIS, Tools, General Reports, Data Integrity Reports. There are 15 data integrity reports. It is recommended that each of these reports be run monthly or more often. And doing what needs to be done on each of these reports, that it helps avoid buildup of problematic person, placement, or child maltreatment records. The running the reports also improves timelines, efficiency, accuracy of data at the local and state levels, which also improve federal reporting. Agency SSIS mentors and coordinators will be contacted by the DHS SSIS Business Ops Unit if reports are not generated and their agency is out of compliance. Just remember that some of the issues on those reports cannot be corrected, and it's frustrating, but sadly there's no way we can just remove that record from that report. And read the directions for resolving the SSIS issues. They're located at the top of each report. And of course, if you have any questions about any data integrity reports, contact us. Now we're going to go on to intakes needing action. It's located under the intake views. Remember to open up your intake needing action log and keep an eye on it, as it shows intakes that have no closing reason or were never referred to the work group. But that part of it was never completed, and those will show in red. We do get requests to reopen an intake, and it's already on the intakes needing action log, which can be reopened at the county level to disposition it correctly. It does help to change the intakes, include intakes open for 0 or more days as a search criteria to ensure you are finding all the intakes needing action. And if you need help on that, contact us. Document matching errors. We receive a lot of questions on why you're getting a document matching error. And most of the time it's because the child maltreatment report is not completed. So SSIS can't figure out which document you must send, and the system cannot populate the correct information. So remember to check the child maltreatment report, the CMR, to make sure all allegations have determinations and all the tabs on the CMR are completed and you've selected assessment complete and whether a determination has been made. Of course, if you're not, it does happen when it shows up and you're not able to figure that out, just email us and we can help you walk through that. Anyone have any questions about that? If not, I believe we are now going to Cassie.
Thanks, Luann. Sorry, guys. I am here to talk about technical issues. So we all love these. Technical issues are issues that happen in the application where it's not working as it should be. These could range from receiving an error message, having issues with logging in, problems connecting to printers, or all sorts of other things. These issues, whatever they may be, change frequently and should be reported as timely as possible. When you report a technical issue, please include details that could be helpful. Some of these details include the user's SSIS user ID. If it's happening to more than one user, tell us about how many users are being impacted. Include those user IDs as well. A brief description of what's happening. Maybe a person search took you 12 minutes. I sure hope not. Or you got an error message. If you also tell us at what point you got that error message, that's helpful too. If you could provide screenshots of the server information, which is found at the bottom left-hand corner of your SSIS screen, that helps. Also, screenshots of any error messages that you receive. Along with all of that, it's really helpful if you can tell us what's already been tried to resolve an issue. That way we have a full picture. So why do we ask for screenshots all the time? Each screenshot that we get tells us a really important story, gives us many, many context clues that can help us point out what the issue is. Also, we unfortunately do not get to show up in your office and see what you're doing and stand right next to you and look at your screen. So it helps us to see what the user is seeing. So despite the fact that this isn't the best screenshot, it's a little grainy, it still does show a great example of all of the information we can get from one full screen on SSIS. We can see down in the bottom left-hand corner that there is server information. It also tells us on that line the user's SSIS user ID. We can see if the user had logged into Remote Desktop or Horizon, which soon won't be an issue anymore. We'll get to that shortly. You can see the entire error message and you can read it clearly. Well, you could if it wasn't a grainy screenshot, but that helps us too. Also with that, I can see on the tree view where the user was clicked by what's highlighted. So you can see that address under that participant is highlighted. So I know the user was trying to enter an address from the screenshot. I also, this screenshot doesn't have it, but if you enable breadcrumbs at the top of the screen, it would show like the path that the user took to get to where they are. That can be really helpful too. And then lastly, which also is not on the screenshot because I had to cut it off to make it fit the screen, on the lower right-hand corner, it gives a timestamp. And so then that gives us, of course, a time when the information or when the error happened. All of this information is useful when we're trying to troubleshoot and when I need to communicate the issue with our Minute partners. And although screenshots are not required to be full screen, it can be really helpful if you do provide the full screen. Oh, everybody's favorites, access violations. If it gives you any peace of mind, we are just annoyed about them as you guys are. Access violations are common, they're a known issue. Unfortunately, we don't know a specific solution yet. We also don't always know why they're happening. So if you get an access violation, it can be helpful to provide details about what you were doing prior to receiving the error and where in SSIS it appeared. So did you click on the participants folder and that's where it came up, or did you try to hit save? All of those things can be helpful. Also report if you were able to select OK and continue working through it. If not, did you have to use Task Manager to exit the application? And did it come back up after you logged back in? Or is the error consistently reoccurring? Sometimes it's helpful to reduce the occurrence of these errors to empty the data cache. Doesn't always help, but it's something that you have power to do. Sometimes that's a little helpful for peace of mind at least. I do want to let you guys know there have been many areas where these errors occur more frequently that have been identified. This is not an exhaustive list. It can happen other places, but maybe just knowing this common known area might be helpful. So some of these places include adding a relationship to a person, adding staff assignments in an intake or a work group, completing SDM tools, and when sending service arrangements off for approval. All right. Have you ever tried to log into SSIS and it disappeared on you? It seems to be something that happens frequently, although it's inconsistent. So sometimes SSIS seems to disappear after logging in. Most of the time, users will be able to see that the SSIS session is actually minimized on your taskbar as seen in the screenshot, but the window will not open up. We call this the minimized issue, and there's a couple things that you can try to get that session to pull up. So first, we would ask that you close all active sessions. Most of the time, you'll need the task manager for this, and try to get the new session to stay using the following steps. After closing, you're going to launch a new session. And when it comes to the credentials screen for SSIS, instead of entering your password, you're going to click X on that logon screen. When you cancel that, you're going to resize the SSIS session so that it's not full screen. So instead of maximizing it, you're going to make it something small. And then you'll go ahead and click File, Log On. And before you hit Enter after entering your password, you need to make sure that that single sign-on option is not checked because that has been linked to this problem. That doesn't always work for every user. It does seem pretty effective. But another thing you can try is, there's a lot of words on the screen, but essentially what it is you're going to try to catch the session as it's loading. You're going to try to catch the top bar up by that maximizer, that X bar as it's loading before it's fully come in, and you're going to just move it around your screen. So you just grab it and you drag it around, and then it seems to kind of snap SSIS out of its like rebellious teenager phase for that moment, and it will let you resize to the correct size and stay open. Again, you need to make sure that when you log on, fishing for SSIS, I like that. When you log on, make sure that you do not have that single sign-on enabled. Don't check that box, it's just troublesome. All right, other trouble that SSIS likes to cause is making it so that you can't see your screen properly. On here, we have a screenshot of a user that was having display issues. Clearly, they're not able to see the person's search screen the way they should. If your screen is looking wonky and fields are cut off or it's size goofy, sometimes it's really subtle. This example is really obvious. You're having a user display issue. Your display in SSIS is directly impacted by what your workstation's display settings are set at. So in order to correct this, because we don't have a system that is yet easily adjusted for accessibility, that is something we all look forward to for modernization. You will need to change your display settings on your computer. So you'll go to the settings within your Windows search bar, and you need to play around with the settings. We don't have very specific settings that always work because everybody's screen is a different size and their workstation may need a different setting than mine. The one thing you do, or that we definitely advise, is to make sure your text is set to 100%. You'll see it definitely impacts, like when you're doing a note, it'll make that small box on the note. Your editor will look tiny instead of being the size it should be. If you've ever experienced that, you know what I'm talking about. You also want to adjust the resolution for your screens. So most often we say to try what's recommended for your computer. And then after that, after you've made adjustments, you need to make sure to shut down your computer, and then get it going back again. And then you'll log in. That's how you get the changes to take effect in SSIS. Super tedious, it's not fun, and it can be frustrating. However, that's what we found that works. All right, next. Does SSIS tend to kind of disappear if your workstation locks or goes to sleep? We have this reported a fair amount of times. We found that it is typically linked to the user's workstation's power and sleep settings. So when the user's computer is locked or it goes to sleep, if the settings are set too short, essentially it's kind of severing that network connection, which is closing out your SSIS session. So to fix that, you want to go into your workstation or your Windows settings and find power and sleep. This is actually a screenshot of what I have mine set to. You may have different things that work for your computer or work with your agency's policies. But you can play around with those to kind of not lose your session so quickly. All right, I mentioned that seeing that server information on the bottom left-hand corner of the SSIS screen, it won't matter if they're in Horizon or remote/Windows app anymore. That's because we finally have an official date for when Horizon is going away. Horizon will officially be retiring for SSIS Access on December 31st. So think new year, new app. We are encouraging users to get that Microsoft Windows app up and running, make sure that you can get into it and not wait till last minute. Users access for Horizon will be turned off at the state level. There's no action you need to take at your agency. And the Active Directory groups, so those checkboxes for Horizon will be removed from the credentials screen. We're also doing that for you too. I know a lot of people were wondering about that. All right, so you guys as the end users are incredibly important to all of the work we do, and no one knows the system better than you guys. If something's not working the way you think it should be, please let us know. We can't fix problems if we don't know they're happening. And without input from you guys, things will go unnoticed and uncorrected or uninvestigated. You guys really are the living, breathing heart and soul of the system. So thank you so much for your commitment to SSIS and the improvement of the system by continuing to report, even though it gets tiring. You guys have really been doing a great job. So speaking of known issues, this is just kind of a little resource page. You can find more information about known issues by checking the release notes and known defects from recent releases. There is a link on the screen. It's in partner link. The known defects list is updated every new release and includes information about workarounds available to be able to work through issues due to the known defects. If you can't find something you're looking for, please contact us. Also, sign up for the SSIS updates to stay up to date on changes. This is a really, it's a good resource, and it's something we all put a lot of time and effort into to give you guys the resources you need. All right, here's my shameless plug again. Agencies willing to pilot are always welcome. We love to work with you guys. I want to talk a little bit about the commitment level. I think people don't really understand, but before I do that, I want to say that this perspective is not just coming from the state. When I was a mentor at Freeburg County, we did many pilots. I'm talking like probably 8 of them, or I don't know, it felt like we were doing them every other release. We piloted many things. So when I tell you that it is not meant to be a crazy heavy lift, it's not just coming from what we hope it is for you guys, it's coming from experience. You will receive as an agency, if you choose to pilot, I send you a checklist for things that we want you guys to go through and make sure they're working. The checklist spells everything out, and you check things off and you report if they don't work. Most of it is things that you already do in your daily work. And honestly, I learned a ton about the system by going through that checklist because it made me do things that I don't normally do in my daily work. So commitment level is review the pilot checklist, send it to me, let me know your updates every week, and report the issues to the state or to the help desk prior to statewide release. If you find an issue, you send a ticket. That's what you do now anyway. We do 3 to 4 weekly pilot check-in meetings. It's typically 3. We keep that 4th there in case there's any issues, and we like to reserve that extra time. And again, that communication to the help desk for any issues. You guys already do that. And one little thing, all the users in your agency will need to use the pilot icon because your whole database is moved over to pilot. You can't pick and choose the users. That's just how pilot goes. So if you're interested in piloting or any more information, please email me. My email is on the slide, or you can send an email to the help desk and we'll be happy to get you whatever information you seek. All right, I spewed a lot of information at you guys. Is there any questions?
Cassie, there's one question in the chat from Teresa. Could you go through those areas most access violations frequently occur again?
Yeah, actually, I am going to, let me find my slide and I'll read it off for you so I don't get it wrong. Okay. So some of these areas include adding a relationship to a person, adding staff assignments in an intake or work group. I think I see it more in intake. Completing SDM tools, that's both for child protection and adult protection. And when sending a service arrangement for approval. It's not an exhaustive list. There are other places, but that seems to be the most frequent flyers I've seen recently. Any other questions? You're welcome,
Teresa
Teresa.
just said thank you, and there's no other questions in chat.
All right, Shauna, I'm sending it back to you then.
Perfect. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about data fix. Data fix is a process used to correct information that was entered incorrectly. Data fix are first reviewed and processed by the help desk or our SMEs, and then forwarded to our technical team who actually does the physical data fix. When submitting a data fix request, it's helpful to describe what issue you're having or what SSIS is preventing you from doing. Please include relevant SSIS person numbers, work group numbers, or any incorrect information that needs to be corrected. Additionally, providing a business reason as to why you need to get this fixed is also helpful for us to look at. Data fixes are performed as a last result, and for this reason, they can be denied. If your data fix is denied, you can ask for it to be reviewed. When requesting a review, provide the business rationale explaining why you believe the data fix should be completed. Your request, along with any additional information you provide, will then be presented at our data fix ticket review meeting with business and data fix representatives. Simple data fixes such as program changes are written up by our help desk staff. Some data fixes that include policy are sent to subject matter experts, and complex data fixes are assigned to me. And I'm just going to go through some of the ones that I see frequently. Next slide. So a big one that I see is the child ward record exists error. You're on the clearing log and you're unable to clear the client because you're getting that error. Person cannot be merged because a child ward record exists. Most of the time, a new participant was added into SSIS when a client was already known. The problem is the the participant that was already known had a child ward folder. This could even be an adult, so that it locks down their profile. In most of these cases, the participants were never adopted though, but they're still locked down. So we have to do a data fix, kind of similar to a pre-post. So what you need to send to the help desk is the SSIS person number for both identities. And then I write up the data fix and, as to what needs to be switched over to that original child board person or participant, and data fix will do that and let you know. Next slide. Another frequent request we have, and seems to be a little more frequent lately, is gender issues. The main gender issue we see is Maxis has a different gender than SSIS. Now, this is a result from, or majorly this comes from a result of a decision made by Maxis that years ago when it came in regards to gender. So in SSIS, currently gender is reserved for gender at birth. Maxis changed their definition to whatever the participant provides them on their application. Now, if gender is changed in Maxis due to an error or a court order was received, then a data fix can be requested to bring the correct gender from Maxis to SSIS. A second issue you might be seeing a lot of lately is the gender coming from state detail from min choices showing unknown gender. Min choices is not required to add a gender, so you'll find unknown sometimes in state detail. This will eventually correct itself. So the gender in SSIS that you've entered is correct, but there's unknown only shows in state detail. You can just ignore this issue. SSIS will, it eventually talks and gets it corrected. What do you need to send to the help desk is the SSIS person number and the correct gender. The next frequent one I see is merged participants. This happens when two participants are merged through the clearing log. When this happens, your agency must create the participant that is not located in SSIS. Then you request a data fix for any intakes or work groups that needs to be moved back to that participant. And I go through each folder and make sure that everything gets moved to the correct person. Next slide. So work group open to case management instead of assessment. We see this issue majorly through adult protection. Adult protection intake is received. In the adult maltreatment report, the answer to accepted for adult maltreatment investigation is selected as no when your intention was yes. Because the answer is no, the only available to open would be open to case management. It won't let you open to an assessment. And these data fixes, I must reopen the AMR, and we can go further with that information, and I provide all the details to you on what needs to be. The SSIS work group number is all that I need from there. On finalizing an SDM tool, these data fixes can be requested because the SDM tool was finalized and now you need to make a change to the tool. Remember, these tools are finalized after 30 days or when you close the case. So if they're not finalized and you're still working in the intake or work group, as whatever it may be, that let's say 15 days after you realize, ooh, I missed something. As long as you hadn't finalized it, it will let you go back and make those changes. But if you cannot, you need to send the work group number, and just the tool name and date will help me figure out which one I need to get sent over and reopen. Next slide. Intake was not referred to a current work group. Majorly, these are found on the intakes needing action log. It was meant to be referred to a work group, and for some reason it didn't. If your intake is red, when you're in the intakes search screen, you can reopen that intake from the intakes needing action. It's not a data fix that would need to reopen that. But a data fix would be required if the work group you want to refer to has a closed or a child or adult maltreatment report. So it kind of depends on which kind of intake or the intake and work group that you're dealing with. Next slide. Big one that I see a lot of is participant needs name, date of birth, social security correction, or adding a PMI number because the participant is locked. The client is sent to excuse me. So the client is locked due to being submitted to DHS. So either they're a foster parent, an adoptive child, kinship child, whatever it may be, they're locked and nothing can be changed. With that, and you need a date of birth correction or a name spelling correction. Sometimes it's add a suffix, sometimes it's adding a PMI number. All of those things have to be done through a data fix, and you just need to provide the person number and the correct information that needs to be entered into SSIS. Now, a big one that goes along with this is if the client that you are dealing with has a PMI number, the information has to be fixed in Maxis first. Once the participant is fixed there, then we can request our data fix. However, if the participant has multiple PMI numbers and the incorrect PMI is in SSIS, a PMI merge would have to occur before we'd be able to do anything. And your financial area should be able to walk you through the PMI merge information. The last big, frequent, complex data fix that I see is the pre-post data fix. When an adoption takes place, a new identity must be entered into SSIS, just as a new PMI is assigned. This does not matter if the name does not change, they still need a separate identity. The social security number might be the same from the pre-adoptive identity to the post-adoptive identity, and that is okay. Any intake or work group after the date of the adoption must be entered under the new identity. If you find that a post-adoptive information is under the pre-adoptive identity, this requires a data fix. What happens is you send the email to the help desk with the child's their SSIS or Swindex number, and then the post identity, SSIS or Swindex number, however is easiest for you to look at it. And then I have to go through every folder in SSIS after I verify the adoption date and request things to move. Some things that you might not catch would be the ICWA determinations or some of the different folders that are down farther.
We lose some of Shauna's audio. I know she was having internet problems this morning. Okay, I'm gonna jump in. So, sorry about that, guys. She definitely had internet connection issues this morning. So I know that she wanted to cover to never use the pre-adoptive identity as an alias for the post-adoptive identity. Some tips that she had found and put on here. I think she actually borrowed it from a previous coffee talk because the information's still good and still relevant. So these are some tips that can be used to make sure that the pre-adoptive identity is not accidentally used. So in here you can see that somebody added or changed the middle name for this client to do not use. The middle name field in SSIS does not lock. So when the adoption is finalized or after submissions have been made, you can still edit that. So adding that do not use is a really good way to trigger the mind and prevent that accidental use of the pre-adoptive identity. Another one some people choose to use is updating the current physical address detail of the pre-adoptive identity to do not use. When people search for this person, that'll be seen at all the different levels. So selecting do not use in or adding do not use to the address can be really helpful. All right. There are a few things that come in that you initially might think are a data fix, but they don't have to be. They're not always, or they aren't a data fix. We get a lot of requests for PMI merges. PMI merge is a process that merges duplicate PMI numbers for clients. We know there are a lot of them out there. PMI merges are not done by the SSIS help desk. We can push the PMI into Swindex so it can be found, but we do not do any of the merging. In order to request a PMI merge, we ask that you reach out to one of your financial workers or somebody with PMN access in your agency. There should be a process that they have, and your financial department can go ahead and do that to request that PMI merge. If the PMI merge is urgent, so urgent would be something like a participant has a child ward folder, or there is TCM billing that needs to be done, ask your financial department to mark that request as urgent so that it can be taken care of, as we know there is quite a backlog on merging PMIs. All right, any questions? I do see a suggestion or comment. If a county notices multiple PMIs, they should try and get them merged ASAP. Down the road, it can be quite a mess, losing money and incomplete data on SSIS. Lori, you are correct. And again, those urgent requests can be due to billing or a child ward. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Heidi.
Hey, thanks, Cass. Hopefully Shauna will be able to jump on again here soon. I actually would just like to share some information about the mentor program. And while what I'll be talking about is geared more towards mentors, it's also helpful for those who aren't in a mentor role. This will give everyone a clearer picture of the important part mentors play in supporting their agencies and strengthening their teams. So just a little SSIS mentor program overview. First, mentors are there to help agency staff use SSIS in a way that feels smoother, easier, and more efficient. They are the first person the agency users go to when they need SSIS support. They play a big role in improving data accuracy and strengthening the reliability of reports agencies submit. The mentor role is not always the same everywhere. Some agencies actually focus their mentors on worker tasks, and others lean in more towards fiscal work. Some agencies actually have their mentors doing both fiscal and worker responsibilities. So the responsibilities aren't exactly one size fits all. They're set locally, and each agency shapes the role of the mentor in the way that best supports their staff. So currently, we have 72 coordinators, 170 fiscal mentors, and we have 338 worker mentors. So it's a really big supportive network, and it is constantly growing. So, mentor responsibilities. I'm just going to walk through some of the key responsibilities mentors take on in their agencies. First, mentors provide one-on-one hands-on support. They're the first point of contact when someone has a question or needs help navigating SSIS. Next, they explain and demonstrate SSIS features. This could be anything from showing a new worker how to complete a task to helping an experienced staff member learn a new tool. Mentors also share important updates, especially when new SSIS versions are released. They help make sure everyone knows what's changing and how it affects their work. Another important role is to coordinate or lead training opportunities. This might include organizing short refreshers, planning group sessions, walking staff through new processes. And they also help troubleshoot issues. When staff run into roadblocks, mentors can step in to problem solve or guide them toward the right solution. And finally, mentors access the SSIS help desk when extra support is needed. They act as the bridge between agency staff and statewide resources to make sure that questions get resolved. And overall, mentors wear a lot of hats, and each of these responsibilities play a big part in supporting the agency operations and keeping things running smoothly. So just a reminder, Shauna had brought this up earlier, but I think it's important to repeat. Please notify the help desk as soon as possible when there are changes to mentors or coordinators. Timely communication helps keep contact information current and systems working smoothly. And when reporting a change, be sure to include the person's name, their phone number, the email address, and whether they will be working in a fiscal or worker, or maybe even both, capacity. So, mentor training and resources. These are the resources that are available to support our mentors and coordinators at every stage. We have on-demand e-learning modules that'll help new mentors and coordinators get started. We have the SSIS Mentor Manual, which provides clear guidance on roles, responsibilities, and technical processes. We have ongoing updates that are shared through the SSIS Update newsletter. And we have the SSIS Coffee Talks that offer opportunities to learn, opportunities for people to ask questions and connect with others. So Coffee Talks are held monthly with the exception of January and July. Now I'd just like to speak briefly about the SSIS Update newsletter. The update newsletters are a biweekly electronic newsletter dedicated to everything happening in the SSIS world. It's a great one-stop resource to stay informed and up to date. So each issue includes helpful tips, important system information, legislative updates, training opportunities, and a variety of SSIS-related announcements. There's something useful for everyone, whether you're a new user or very experienced with SSIS. So the newsletter is open to anyone and everyone. Subscriptions are not limited by role. We ask that mentors help spread the word by sharing relevant information from updates with their agency users to make sure everyone stays informed. If you're interested in subscribing, you can find subscription details on the SSIS resource page as well as on the Engagement HQ site. It's very quick and easy to sign up and easy to stay connected. So next we have the SSIS Mentor Manual. So the Mentor Manual is a 70-page resource guide that provides an overview of mentor roles and responsibilities, as well as technical guidance for administering SSIS at the local agency level. Information that can be found in the manual includes, what the SSIS mentor role is, information about various roles and other admin stuff in SSIS. It's got annual settings, county preferences, information on data integrity reports, and a whole lot more. The manual can be found under SSIS Mentor Program on Partner Links SSIS homepage, as shown on the next slide. So here we just have a screenshot of the SSIS resource page and where you will find the manual on the SSIS Mentor Program site. And before, let's see, I guess I'm almost ready to wrap it up here, but I have been asked to share information regarding preparing for a new year in admin. So before we move into the new calendar year, there are a few important SSIS admin settings that have to be completed. These are annual updates and help ensure everything runs smoothly once the new year begins. These settings include things like yearly settings, agreement language, security functions, service-related configurations such as service arrangements, accrual codes, and sub-services. While this may feel routine, it's a critical step that impacts everyone who uses the system. So if these settings aren't completed ahead of time, workers won't be able to create the new service arrangements, make payments, or copy COA maximums for the upcoming year. So taking care of this early helps prevent delays and last-minute issues for staff. If you need guidance or want to double check your steps, detailed information and instructions are available on page 20 of the mentor manual. And it really is a great reference that can walk through the process clearly. So if questions arise regarding the annual setting process, please feel free to contact the SSIS help desk and one of our lovely staff will be happy to assist you. So we really value your thoughts and ideas, and we'd love to hear from you. Your feedback helps guide what we do next and ensures we're creating resources that truly support your work. At the end of this presentation, there will be a short survey. It'll only take a few minutes, and your responses will directly influence future materials, trainings, and events. So our partnership with agencies is a key part to our success. By working together and listening to your experiences, we can continue building tools and supports that are practical, relevant, and meaningful. Please know that your feedback is always welcome, not just today. So you can reach out to me anytime, contact the SSIS Help Desk, or visit the Engagement HQ website anytime to share your ideas, suggestions, or ask any questions you may have. So we appreciate your collaboration and look forward to continuing this work together. I am not sure if Shauna has been able to reconnect. Shauna, are you there?
I am. I
Awesome.
apologize. The internet has been going in and out in my area since last night. But lastly, we just wanted to thank everyone for all their patience with us. We had a wonderful group of people we work with daily, and we just want to thank you all for making our job more enjoyable. Since we're almost at 10:30, I'm not sure where we're going to go from here.
I think we're going to just go ahead and end here. And anything we didn't get to today, we will take under advisement with the individuals that were leading up those sections. And we will either offer the remainder of this coffee talk at the next biweekly check-in with our SSIS technical partners led by Tier 2, or we will figure out another way to furnish the information. But I want to echo Shauna's sentiments and just say thank you to all of our system users and our mentors and coordinators out at the agency who are dealing with SSIS in the trenches on a day in and day out basis. And happy holidays to everybody.
Eric, real quick, I would
Yes.
just like to share that we do not have a coffee talk scheduled for January. We'll be picking up in February again on the 17th at 9 o'clock. We'll be presenting SSIS version 26.1 statewide release. So we will share that information again sooner, closer to February, so that everybody can be watching for that. And again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you again for joining us this morning. And as Eric said, we hope you have a very happy holiday season. So thank you all.